Let's do it.
We are live. Good morning, everybody, to NFL Division Round Sunday. We are your hosts, Mark and Marley. What's up, brother?
Good morning, everybody. What a day yesterday. Like I told you, Josh Allen.
You did?
Choked it up.
I said, could Bo Nix finally reach above his, add on to his rookie season, making the playoffs, shocking everybody, most people, not everybody, to where he lost to the Bills last year in Buffalo. A big part of the win yesterday, but unfortunately breaking his ankle.
That's terrible. One little bone in your ankle.
You're cooked.
No, he's got to get surgery to fix it.
Yep.
That's not good. That means you fully broke that thing enough where it won't touch to heal back. And they want to make sure that must be a supporting bone or something in your ankle. That's not good. That sucks. You know what I mean? Like, that's just terrible, dude. That kid worked that hard, beat Josh Allen, in the playoffs at home, got his team the whole, granted that defense had a lot to do with it, but without that quarterback, that team's not that team. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Works his ass off, gets them all the way to the number one seed to make sure that you have to come through Denver to go to the AFC Championship game and to go to the Super Bowl, and now he's sitting on the bench. That just sucks, man. Jared Stidham coming in at starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Hey, now.
No offense to that kid, man, but
that's a tough
you
spot.
ain't in if you ain't thrown a pass in 2 years on the field, dude. You definitely have some underlying issues.
That's a tough spot, and Denver's gonna feel that too. Like you can only imagine like what the energy is gonna be like. Like yeah, they're gonna bring it. They're gonna play. They're gonna try and be there for this kid, prop him up, and try and put him in the best position to win. But whoever comes in there and plays in Denver is gonna be smelling blood.
It ain't gonna be the same. Like Denver's not gonna have the same hype as they would have with Bo Nix coming out onto the field with him. Don't get me wrong. They're going to rally around their teammate as they always should. But they're going on to they all woke up today like fuck. Like especially that defense. They're just like, man. Now we're really going to have to buckle down. And don't get me wrong. They forced 5 turnovers yesterday. What's up with the interception? Do you know about that? There was one that they got. There's a funky call going on one. I didn't catch it.
I did not see it live. They showed the replay 100 times. So obviously, like when I looked down on my phone, I was playing some poker last night. Getting in with the boys. I looked down and they were showing the replay. If there's one thing that I could say in regards to a play like that, if they're going to favor all these calls for the offense, why not have one that favors the defense? It's an offense led league, right? Everybody likes offense. Yeah. The product comes through the offense. Defensive games, some of us still respect to this day. But the pass interference is going to, if they're going back and forth, 90% of the time it's going to get called for the on the defense.
Yeah.
So why not have the defensive player get an advantage on one play? My thing is, especially this specific play, he came down with the ball and rolled. So like he's down, right? And then like at the end, like the ball kind of rips out.
I did see this one then. So they did give him that pick?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, who came down with the ball last? It was a defensive guy, right?
Right.
So then possession goes to the player with the ball. Like they were rolling together in midair. I remember this. And they came down like the receiver never maintained possession of the ball. Is the way I saw it.
Well, then it wouldn't be. It's not going to be incomplete. No.
What's that?
It won't be incomplete then because the ball never hit the ground.
Well, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he never that dude never fully secured the ball. Like he didn't just catch it and then start running, and then dude, knocked it out or something, and they were fighting for it. It was they both went up to play the ball, and they both just kind of kept it floating in the air, and then the defensive guy came down with the ball, right?
All right, I'm bringing up the tweet.
Yeah, watch what you did. Stupid. I'm so glad my they like finally scrubbed all that shit off Twitter.
So there's like, I don't know, like a whole, maybe a body length between the two players. They show the guy, he's down with his knee with the ball in possession. The next photo shows him completely down on his fetal position side with the ball, with possession. The Broncos defender has his arms underneath him, like that he's getting ready to grab the ball, but he doesn't really have it yet. He's just like kind of like a part of the play. That's all they show. But then what I remember seeing, what happens next is they roll, and after they roll, the Broncos player snatches it out. Like he's been down at this point for like a whole solid 2 seconds.
But I think the whole thing is like the ball never stops moving the whole time.
And that's what you don't see in the photo. Like it's not a video. Let me
if you want to show a still frame of it, look where the ball is. It's never in his hands, probably.
Here's the video. So the ball, so he's got possession of the ball, but it's kind of out there. That's why he was able to grab it.
Yeah, it's not. He has it. It's like a weird, like it's like almost like a magnetic field one around his arms and chest, and that ball was just floating in the middle of him. Like he had it, but it wasn't like he had it. He could never he could never grab it, and he could never just run away. He was still playing like, oh shit, I have it, but I don't, because this guy's got his arms in there. You know, they were tied up together, and at the end of it, if the ball is not secured, like you have to, you know, or
all the way through. Kind of like when you catch a ball out of bounds. Like if you fall out of, like if you get 2 feet in and you fall out of bounds and that ball comes out, it's an incomplete pass, right?
Yeah, it is.
So then,
absolutely. So just because you have possession in bounds doesn't mean you have to maintain possession. That's the thing. You have to maintain. You have to survive the ground, and he never survived the ground.
That's a great take.
So that's where it's at. You know, like you just said, when you go out of bounds, if you land on the warning track and the ball comes out, incomplete pass.
Yep.
Well, to reverse that to where the ball is still in play, when you catch a ball, you know, you could very well have it, but when you hit the ground, you know, it comes out like we've seen it, you know, I think it was in the 49ers game. You know, he caught it, but whenever he hit the ground, it kind of popped out between his arms and like went up in his crotch, and the ball drug on the ground, incomplete pass. Right. But if a Seattle Seahawks receiver or defender would have had his hand under that, you know, with him and kept the ball from touching the ground and snatched it away from him, that would have been a turnover. So that's, you know, that's where it is. Like,
my whole thing,
I get it. The Bills are bitching, you know, they got screwed out of that or whatever it is. But realistically, Sean McDermott, stop putting your team in those positions to have to worry about one single play, man. You guys had 5 turnovers. You had 4 more after that, or in before, like in and around that play,
and chances to win after that. And chances to win after that. They actually got the ball back after that. You know, they were able to. You know, it's not like that was the last play of the game.
No, and that's the other thing too. Like you're bitching about something that happened in like the first quarter. You know, like you said, they had more than enough chances to win the game, and you want to come out and bitch about one single play.
I mean, that was late in the game. It wasn't late. It was the fourth quarter, yeah. But again, they that wasn't the play that wasn't the end of the game. You know, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I think at best they got maybe, I don't even think they got a field goal out of that, did they?
I don't think so.
No, I think the defense come out and, you know, made it a thing. So it was whatever. And I don't want to hear it, man. There's so many calls in this league that go so bad, you know, like so fucking bad. Like for the other team, like there's no way you could have called this. Like, no, and like people are literally flipping out. You know, and like to where like you see tweets about
it's getting bad.
Yeah, they're all, yeah. Some of most. If you go on Facebook after a game with bad calls, they're like, oh, the refs apologize and blah blah blah. They're recounting the game or whatever. Yeah, whatever, dickhead.
It's
But
like not to get off track here, but like the last like NBA game I watched like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes of a quarter. It was like just the start of the game. They stopped the game like 6 times to review 6 different plays. I'm like, what are we doing here?
yeah, that's boring to watch.
What are we doing here?
Boring to watch.
Players are like
Boring.
pointing and like complaining and like not wanting to play until they review it and get the call right. Like, get out of here, man.
What are they even challenging? Like, who touched the ball last?
Yeah, like out of bounds plays, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like who
really
went off of this player or that player.
And you're talking about games that are in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It's 2-3.
Yep.
And they're over here just, and they're already an hour into the damn game.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder why your ratings are dropping.
Yep.
Get that shit right. And I'm sorry, but like the refs in the NFL do need to get their shit together. Like, there's a lot of bad calls. There's a lot of shit that doesn't get called. There's a lot of sometimes, man, some of these stupid ass holding penalties really piss me off. Like, you're really going to flag a guy that's on the opposite side of the fucking field. Meanwhile, you got guys that are literally getting held on the fucking play right in front of you, and the ref never throws a flag.
And it's almost
what the hell are you doing here?
It's almost like, okay, they know they're not going to call it in the fourth quarter because it's a tight game. You got to let him play, right? So you could just go and basically like run a player over when he's about to catch the ball, and they're not going to call it because it's the fourth quarter and it's late in the game. They're not going to throw the flag. Well, like, no, you got to, if it's a penalty, you got to throw the flag, right?
Yeah.
Like, same goes for both ways. We've seen that countless times.
Yeah, there was a lot of PI calls in them games last night that were a little iffy. There was just a lot of hand fighting, and like, what are you gonna do? You're battling for the ball,
right?
You're both
playing
pushing.
Tough.
You're both trying to keep each other within an arm's reach. The receiver doesn't like it when you put his hand on him, so he swats you off. Well, then now you just start this shit the whole way down the field. Well, that's a mutual combat is what I call that. You know what I mean? That's not the defensive player getting touchy.
Right.
They always run down the field touching them. And when you're looking at the ball, you don't want him to get away from you. And if he does, you need to know where he went. Like, if you need to step a couple different sides, take a step to the left or right to realign yourself with him. I don't know. Just the refs need to get their shit together. They need to go sit down in classes. They need to not mix them up. Like, that's the other problem too, is in the playoffs for some reason, you guys make them stay together all season long. It's the same crew every game. But then in the playoffs, you get all these mixed bags of referees and shit. It's like it's like the All-Star game for the playoffs. But there is no All-Star game when they're like, why is there a better referee than another? Like, you should all be across the board.
And they'll say that. And they'll say that during the broadcast. We're like, oh, this is the first time this crew's working together. Why?
Why? Why? Why don't you have, why don't they all have their own, why don't they have their usual crew up there? The games would get called so much better. Because a lot of,
you know why?
What's that?
Money.
Oh, of course. But what money is it though? What money?
The sports books.
Where's the money in the referees?
The sports books.
Oh, okay. So yeah, for the fucked up calls.
It's like, well, yeah,
like,
they have to split these crews up because then there's more ins and outs to it than that.
If they're talking about game integrity, no, but that's just then why are you doing it all season long?
Right.
You know what I mean? Dead ass. If you want to talk about if you want to talk about game integrity, then they should never have the same crew all the time. They should switch them up you should always have your head referee. And like Ed Hockley, bro, that was probably my all-time favorite ref.
Yeah, you got a lot of favorite calls with him.
Well, no, it's not because he favored us. He called the game. His crew was always on point, man. Like, I was like, okay, we're gonna have a good game ref-wise because he's the referee. He's not gonna let these bullshit calls go through.
Here's the thing, too.
And his team was always. What's that?
Well, here's the thing too. So, like, I'll use Ed Hockley for an example. Like some nerd behind a computer is posting these stats on Twitter saying, "Oh, Ed Hockley, when he calls Steelers games, the Steelers are 10-2." You know, and that like affects like line movements and stuff. And like I said, it all circles back to the sports books, my man.
What's that?
It all circles back to the sports books. I said I use
Yeah.
Ad Hoc League as an example. Well, when Ad Hoc League calls a Steelers playoff game, just an example, I'm just fucking firing from the hip. The Steelers are 10-2 when Ad Hoc League is calling Steelers games. So like that moves the money around in the sports book. So what they do is they try to get any advantage they can to not let you have the advantage.
Yeah.
And it's chaos, bro.
Well, that's because he that's why I love that his son is doing it now. I can't wait till he evolves into, his dad, or like the caliber that his dad was. So that way, I can't wait till he's calling the Super Bowls and whatnot. Like when I see him come on the field, I'm like, okay, we got a hockey league out there. We should be okay. But he really gets our games though. We haven't really had him as a ref yet.
So
see at the moment.
You took the Broncos, I took the Bills. Moving on.
I told you, choke city, baby.
You took the 49ers, I took the Seahawks. A sleeper. We were chatting a little bit towards the end. I know you were kind of in and out of sleep. I was like, I can't believe this team was getting rid of Geno Smith away from being a Super Bowl contender. Like this team was actually legit.
I wasn't watching this game. Right. I was awake for this one. I watched it up until it was like 20 to 3. And I was like, this shit's over.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that the way the 49ers are playing last night, I don't know what the hell was going on, but they could not I know what was going on.
Purdy was running for his life. Defense. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the defense was not letting them do shit last night. They come out and said, we're not. That there might be the catalyst to the Seahawks this year. I guess they call themselves the dark side this year. Their little nickname they got.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good game by the old Seahawks there. Sam Darnold coming out throwing some zingers.
So with Sam Darnold, and it's like he doesn't have he doesn't put up the stats. Like he'll go 19 of 20 for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like it's just masterclass football.
Mm-hmm.
Calling the right plays, putting themselves in the best position to win, and he don't care about stats. They're just winning.
Yep.
And as far as Sam Darnold goes, out of Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold could be the first one to make a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Lamar's never been there, huh?
Yep.
Poor guy. I don't know, man. I was surprised that it went that way last night. Like that was the most lopsided game of the whole season right there. But I was surprised it went that way.
Hang on, Marl. I'll be right back. I have something I have to attend to. Give me a second. Sorry. Nope. Hang on.
I thought for sure that the 49ers would game plan a little bit better for that game. But no, they didn't. They weren't it. Josh Allen choking it up. When can he ever get over the humpity hump? You know, he's he had no excuse this year. He had no Patty Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. He was the only veteran quarterback going into the playoffs with any huge playoff experience. But now, once again, we get to watch a press conference of him crying like a little girl, talking about, "Oh, I let my team down, blah 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 blah." And then they want to bitch about a catch or an interception, whichever one it was. But at the end of the day, Buffalo, you guys were the most talented roster going into the playoffs. You had the veteran quarterback, all the the weapons on offense. You got a solid defense, but then you go and blow it. And I knew you guys were going to, because you can't you can never do it. And I don't know, like, I don't want to hear it. You guys, your coach needs to do a better job. Josh Allen needs to do a better job. Everybody needs to do a better job. It was a team loss yesterday. Like, that defense, you guys got to tighten up. You're letting the team put up 30 some points on you. That says a lot in the NFL. That means you got a spongy ass defense if you're letting a team put up that many points on you. Work on that a little more. Like, what are y'all doing out here? You guys should have game planned for Bo Nix for weeks, but you guys, you just can't do it. At the end of the day, it came down to overtime, and I'm surprised, because I called it to be the other way around. I called the flip-flop games. I figured that the 49ers are going to beat the shit out of the Seahawks, and the Bills, they weren't going to, it was going to be an even game. But nope, they drug it to overtime. And that was a pretty damn good game, to be quite honest. I did fall asleep during it, but it's so hard to watch football that you don't care about. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch the playoffs, but if your team's not in it, you just don't have that energy. And it was getting kind of dull anyway. They were just kind of dueling back and forth, and then they didn't really ramp it up for a while.
That's some good stuff, Marley. My whole thing with the Bills, going back to it, I said this yesterday. Like, so they were one of the most experienced teams in the playoffs, right? Especially on the AFC side. This was the worst. Yep. This was probably the worst Bills team that Josh Allen's been a part of, though. And I just, I took the Bills out of, like, okay, I'm just going to ride with Josh Allen until the wheels fall off, basically. So where they go from here is, like, they're really in desperation mode at this point. Like, they want to keep the quarterback happy. They're not a player away from running it up.
No, that's the thing. Like, this team is a winning team as it is. Like,
right.
Come on, man. They had the number one rusher in the NFL. Why you didn't just run the shit out of that ball and let James Cook get going? It's beyond me. They gave him the ball in the first, I think the first couple handoffs, and he just cranked it out. And I literally looked over at my lady. I said, I knew it. I said, they have to stop that today. I think he cranked off a 20-yard run instantly or something like that.
Yeah,
it was at least like a 17.
I don't think he touched the ball in overtime.
What's that?
I don't think he touched the ball in overtime.
That's stupidity. And that's the thing. And that's where the arrogance of some of these damn quarterbacks and the stupidity of some of these coaches just goes out the show. So you have the number one rusher in the league. You know how hard that is to get what he got? And that's just running straight ahead too. That dude barely cuts until he gets the open field. But they should have just pounded the rock the whole damn game. Like, granted, it's a little dull, it's slow going, but you got to do something. Like, why are you putting them back on the field again? You go, we do it all the damn time. Come out, throw 3 passes. It's a whopping 30-second drive, and then your defense is back out on the field again. Well, what did you accomplish there? You kept them. You didn't keep anybody off the field. So now you keep giving possessions to the other offense. You're never going to win in the NFL doing that shit. At some point, the running game has to be reinstated back in the NFL if these teams really, really, really want to win. I get it. It's not exciting for teams, but I'd rather watch a guy go bust out a 15-yard run, breaking tackles and shit like that, than watching these assholes throw a 30-yard pass.
Incomplete, right?
It's not really that exciting to me.
Yeah, run the ball, man. That stuff's important too. I like watching a running back break out a good run,
Yeah, and I mean, granted, yeah, don't come out and run it all 3 downs, but realistically, if that's what it means you need to do to win, then what the hell are you doing? You know, if your running back's getting 4 yards a carry, five, even three point something, like you said in the one game, and like I think the last game, last week, run the ball 3 times, you got a first down. What's the problem here? And then the Bills with their stupid tush push shit, man. People want to bitch about Philly. Buffalo's getting just as bad, man.
Buffalo
Them
was one of the
assholes that play 5 fucking times in a row.
Buffalo was one of the teams that wanted it banned too.
Yeah, and of course now they come up with their own.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's successful. Now they're not bitching, huh? Nope. And they need to start blowing the whistle a little bit sooner on them damn things anyway. Like, I'm so sick of that shit. They let
Forward
those guys
progress.
go for like
Yeah.
10 seconds. Just
Right.
move. Like, come on. Like,
Then
it
you
shouldn't
have
even.
right. You have some asshole away from the play, like running full speed and fucking barreling into those players. Like you're gonna get somebody hurt. Like idiot.
And that's my, like, they want to talk about player safety. You're not allowed to gain. I don't understand how you're allowed to gain leverage by a guy literally getting, like, they put Cam Hayward in for us. That's a 300 and some pound man, doing that shit and pushing his little brother up over the line. Well, you're not allowed to gain leverage on a punt or on a extra point or a field goal block. You're not allowed to gain leverage off the down line. I mean, you have to actually jump yourself. So what the hell are we doing here? Like, just blow the whistle dead. Like, they're letting this shit go on way too long. If that was a normal running back, he wouldn't be. He gets stood up. They blow the whistle because now his forward momentum has been stopped. And I do believe yesterday that Denver came away with that damn ball when Josh Allen did that shit down near the goal line. Why they didn't look at where that ball was, I'll never know. It was like they didn't even say anything. The Bronco came away with the ball, and not Josh Allen never went down. He's still standing up. So when the hell does it? When is he down on them things? Like when they blow the whistle, because they technically never touched the damn ground on that play.
Right.
They're laying on bodies the whole time.
Let's get into the games today, Marley, shall we? Number 5 seed Texans on the road taking on the 2 seed New England Patriots.
I said it yesterday. I'm taking the Pats, but the only thing that's going to keep the Texans in this game is that defense. Do they still have it in the tank to come up and play a very, very tough New England team? Vrabel, seeing what we did to Stroud last week, we were all over that. We were all over that kid. He had no chance for a long time there. We stopped them to 1 touchdown, and that was just honestly, at the end of the day, that was just a lucky touchdown. They just got behind us one time. If that was the case, that game would have been 6-0 for the longest time. But yeah, I don't know. I know the Texans have a damn good defense, and I know, but Stroud's suspect, man. We bitched last season because you and I had him on in fantasy football, and he was not doing anything for us. Like, he was losing us games, to be honest. And then this year, he went out, but then he rallied up his team, and he's forced them into, they turned it around, won all these games straight now, and coming into the playoffs hot after beating us, and but I don't know, man. I think Vrabel, he'll have his team ready, and Drake May isn't Aaron Rodgers, and they have a lot better weapons up there for him to throw the ball to, and they're just an all around better team. Who you got? Don't tell me you're taking the Texans today.
No, I'm going to take the Patriots too. I just know that the Texans aren't just going to roll over either.
No, they're not going to roll over.
This is a very well coached team. I think they deserve to be here. I think they still have good pieces on their offensive side of the ball. My whole thing is like, all right, if you get into a pissing contest with the Patriots, you're going to get outscored. If you get into a chess match with the Patriots, you're probably going to lose, just like in the Chargers game. This game's probably going to go just like the Chargers game did last week. Defense is playing well. Ball's going to be barely moving. My whole thing is that the Patriots have a little bit of a better offense than the Steelers did, but the Texans have a better defense. than the Chargers did. So it's going to come down to really, CJ Stroud, and that's a tough ask for him, especially in the playoffs, because he hasn't been right since his rookie season. We've known that.
No, he hasn't. He was a standout player in his first year, but then after that, he's just been kind of meh. If he doesn't get hurt, he's mid. He's mid. He's really just mid. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind having him as my starting quarterback just because he's talented, and I think under the right. I mean, D'Amico Ryans is a damn good coach, but I don't know. There's something about it sometimes where they just can't get it together. And with them too. Look, Nico Collins is hurt once again. When is that dude ever going to stay healthy? Is that whole team they're once again decimated by injuries, and they also should stick with the run game. They have two very good running backs down there. I don't know why these like we just said they just want to put it all on the quarterback. One guy, let him make sure he has to make 100% of his throws. Congratulations, a running back's always gonna make something. And granted, you'll get tackled for a loss here and there and whatnot, but it's not an easy way out. It's never a quick 3 and out when you're running the ball. And you gotta preserve your defense, especially the Texans. That was the other thing too. They had the Texans defense was very well rested during our game. So they didn't have a whole lot, it wasn't a problem. I think Drake May gives them a harder run for their money today. It's gonna be a younger quarterback, a more mobile quarterback, talented receivers, good running game. They're going to give them a good run for their money. I think they're going to actually put up points today.
Well, on the other side of it, this is Drake May's first go around. So can he minimize mistakes?
Everything all right over there?
What's that?
Everything all right over there?
No, I'm really fucking distracted, man. This is not really working out so well for me right now.
Wow, what's going on?
Moving on.
Yeah.
Rams and Bears, Sunday Night Football.
I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be boring.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope we have a good time watching this game. I think we're going to have a better time watching the Pates and the Texans.
Yeah,
but
I'm the opposite.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think I think this is going to be like in the 60s.
Oh, you think it's going to be too? Oh, you really, dude? There's something about the Ram offense, though, man. I know they are really high powered, but there are games where they just come out and It's like, what the hell are we watching? They just flat tire all of a sudden, and I don't know, man. They got to go play in the Bear Stadium. It's not an easy task.
Yeah.
I think the Bears win today.
Wow.
I hate to say it. I'm taking the Bears. Confines of Soldier Field. I see the defense getting after Stafford enough to make it happen. I know that team is so talented on offense, but it's going to come down to defense in that game, and I think that the Bears have the edge.
That's a great take because how I feel about the Bears, I think the Bears are just a better version of the Panthers. Are they not? Good running game, good young wide receivers on the outside, athletic quarterback, and they were giving the Rams fits. The Rams won that game 34-31. The Panthers actually beat the Rams during the regular season. So this is the team that kind of models the way that the Panthers play. I just think the Bears are obviously a better team than the Panthers. So you're just getting a better version of the Panthers again going up against the Rams.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. A more experienced quarterback can win that game. Like you said, the Panthers beat the Rams, and that's where you lost me on the Rams. Don't get me wrong, the Panthers weren't a bad team this year. They made one hell of a turnaround, but they weren't a good team either. They were not a good team. On paper, looking at the Rams and the Panthers, that shit should have been a blowout. There should have been no way in hell that they lost that game. But like you said, the Rams did beat the Bears in the regular season. By a field goal, though. By a field goal. So they might put up some points today. It might be a 60s, 70s game, but I think that the loss in the regular season will hang on the Bears enough. Like you're not coming in my stadium and beating me in the playoffs. I think their coach is going to coach them up. Caleb Williams is going to come out. He's going to be able to play. They got him healthy. They have all their people. Like you said, they have one hell of a running game, dude. Swift is a damn good running back. They have a nasty 1-2 punch. So if they get those two guys, well, that's the thing too, man. They got to keep Stafford off the field. If they can do that, they'll be fine.
Right.
If they can maintain possession, get that run game going, they've got to keep him off the field. If they can limit Stafford to maybe 5, 6 possessions, they'll win this game easily, dude.
I'm just in a situation where I'm kind of going with my preseason pick. I mean, I didn't pick a team to win the Super Bowl. Like I know we don't make Super Bowl predictions throughout the season, but I really had this feeling that this would be the season where the Rams would find themselves in this situation. They have an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game again. And I did not see the Bears being that team that was going to come out of nowhere. They plugged the right coach in. They're riding on this high. They have talented players. I just think the Rams are still a better team. So I'm going.
I mean, they really are. Like if you on paper, they're definitely a better team, but I don't know.
I'm going with the Rams.
All right.
In a rematch with the Seahawks. Right. Well, at least this is probably the first time this week, at least, that we will both pick the Patriots. But we're opposites again. This is wild.
So we're 1-1 and on the record this week, so we'll see what happens here.
I said if Matthew Stafford stays healthy that they're gonna be favorites to come out of the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure he will. Hopefully, no, barring any injuries. Like that really sucks for Denver losing Bo Nix. That's just terrible. But, I don't see Stafford, taking any real big shots today. I think they'll block him up enough to keep him off the ground. I don't think it's going to be, the Bears defense, blitzing the shit out of him, but they have the corners to cover up Puka Nacua and them, and they'll make it happen today. That's the other thing. Like, I don't know, man. You always know when I make my picks, I lean in towards the outside of the game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like how's that locker room right now? That Bears locker room's cranked the hell up. They are a team that completely turned it around. They're talking about a 1-2 win team a few years ago. Barely smelling the playoffs, not even getting anywhere near them. The laughing stock in the NFL. Now they're coming in as the number 1 and number 2 seed. Like, no, they're not letting this. They're not letting this. And look at the Rams. They should have been. Look at their record coming into the playoffs. And they came in at a low seed. But
is there going to be? That reminds me. I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there going to be a single Rams fan in the stadium today? Like, honestly. Leonardo DiCaprio flying into Chicago and sitting in the stands? Like, I don't think so.
You'll see a few. You always will, because you always got them jerk offs that live in another city that, rooting for that team. Like, you always see it. Like, even last night, granted, San Francisco and Seattle isn't that far away from but it is, though, if you think about it. Like, that's freaking far. You got to go through basically like the sides of like 4 states to get to Seattle.
Flying in from LAX to Chicago, that's 2 pretty big ass airports.
And that's the thing. You got to go through LAX into O'Hare. And honestly, like,
there might even
you really want to fly from warm ass Los Angeles to what? It's probably, if it's 19 degrees here, I can only imagine what it's like in Chicago.
It's going to be
right now.
They're already calling it the frozen tundra in Chicago this week. But I'm saying there's probably going to be more Packers fans than Rams fans there this week rooting against the Bears.
Honestly, though, like the Packers need to sit the hell down and shut the hell up,
right?
Because they have no room to talk anymore.
Nope.
They can't say shit to the Bears. They can't say shit. It's not like, I don't want to hear Max. You can't give me that phrase. It's the same old Bears.
Leave him alone. Leave that man alone.
No, I just want to say, all you Packer fans, I don't want to hear that bullshit phrase anymore. But it's still the Bears. It's not still the Bears.
Hey,
They have completely erased that phrase out of history now. Like, if you want to say anything, it might be, oh, it's still the Packers.
shout out to Max. Hope you're well. So like all these teams that got eliminated from the playoffs early, they went on their Cancun trip. He went on his hunting trip early. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Max is in the woods right now, actually.
Yep.
All bundled up. Meanwhile, it's probably like 70 down there.
Well, I'm excited to come out and watch these games with you, Marley.
Oh yeah, gonna be a good time, buddy. I can't wait to see your ass.
Yeah, man. First time in 2026. Looking forward to it. Watch some football in the Steel City, outskirts of Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah. Wish it was nicer out. We could actually do some shit.
I know, right? That's gonna wrap it up for today.
Divisional round.
Divisional round. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Enjoy watching some football. It's the playoffs, baby. We'll be back next week to talk about the conference championship games and recap these games. Peace out.
It's almost over, man.
It's almost over. A couple of games ago. Let's enjoy it while we have it, right?
Indeed.